and there's no, you have to have all your students or 10 students. Yeah, you send one student, that's the rate they'll charge. So that's the information that I have for you. I don't know what you want to do with that. They're also sending a student, they grandfathered some kids, and they're sending one student to St. Johnsbury. And I don't know if I've got the St. J's rate here.
It went up this year.
Yes, I know. We signed a contract already with them, but I want to say it's like $16,400 basically. Huh?
Or Warren or Cleveland.
What?
They're sending a kid to St. Johnsbury Academy?
There's one kid that goes there from.
I didn't realize they had choice.
Not one, I'm sorry. Come on.
I didn't realize, so the Academy's choice would be on
They can, they've got kids going all over the place.
I thought it was Rivendell.
They have Rivendell, but they have another kid in St. J. I want to say Warren's got one there too. They do, Warren does have one there. Anyway, that's the rate there.
Did we sign a multi-year contract?
Right, we did.
You've got a 6-year contract with Warren, but with some specific conditions. And I think Warren has been asked to approach you to perhaps discuss it further. We'll have to wait and see, because I'm a little confused. I have to go back and read the minutes of the meeting. This was a wide-ranging conversation, to say the least, and it went there and back and forth, and there were 2 petition warrant articles, and both of those were passed over, and then we went back to an original one, with a little twist to it, so.
Did anything actually pass at their meeting that impacts?
Did impact?
Like school choice or any changes? I'm not up on this.
Yeah, yes and no, but mostly no. It's complicated to try to explain. I don't even want to try to explain it because it's Warren. It has really little to do with you folks. But there is a
lot of cushion revenue.
Well, yeah, because we weren't aware the year that they decided to go to Plymouth, and it was.
Well, the way the vote that took place at the town meeting, they voted essentially to pay the tuition rate that you folks are charging, and they will pay that towards other schools that people may wish to go to, but they will not pay any more than the amount that they pay to you. And what we haven't talked about is the kids who are grandfathered, what they're going to do, what that means for them. I may even have to get a legal opinion, frankly. It's really pretty convoluted.
It's not convoluted, but.
Well, I don't know if the kids who are attending here who are grandfathered to Plymouth, to all these other places, how they're impacted by the vote at this town meeting. Because there's a statement, a vote that was taken by the school board previous to the town meeting. Now the town meeting's got a vote directing the board to do certain things. My information is that's advisory, but the board also made some statement about how they will support the vote of the town. So I don't know where we're set. I have to have another follow-up meeting now with Warren to really know where that's going to go.
None of it's bringing Warren children back to us exclusively. Basically, they still have choice. It's just now, rather than we'll pay wherever you want to go, we're going to pay what Woodsville charges, and I think above that, you're footing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and frankly, that's contrary to legal advice that I had obtained from them previously, which is why I really need to have another conversation with them. The old adage is not over until the family sings is really kind of germane to this conversation, because there's 2 or 3 threads to this that I need to grab and figure out where they're going with them.
But they're not coming here. That seems like a pretty.
No,
we gained quite a few back.
I would
like this year.
Yeah, you've got a lot, and I don't see you losing a lot, frankly. But I just there's too many unknowns right now for me to be able to tell you. I don't want to tell you this, and then find out it was that.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones? We had 11 8th graders here all day today, 9 from Warren and 2 from Barnet, who were considering us as their choice school.
Barnet? Barnet sends kids here? Barnet sends kids here?
Yeah.
My sense is it's not going to have a huge impact. but I don't know that yet.
How many kids are in the current eighth grade class at any one?
11, I
in-
believe.
There's 11 total?
Or 12, I'm not
I
100%
think
sure,
it's, I
but it's
think
11.
it's, I think it's 12.
Okay.
But you've also got, my information is there are 5 in Monroe that want to come here too.
Out of their 9. It's a big class.
And in fact, Monroe's
choice.
interested in talking with you about a contract.
Monroe's always had choice, that's why they
Yeah.
moved to Monroe.
Barnet has choice too, doesn't it?
Barnet, because it earned them a lot.
I didn't realize that you had any students in Barnet coming here. Interesting.
So shouldn't we just keep our tuition at what we had planned in the 6-year contract? And we had previously agreed that whatever we offered Warren, we were gonna offer everybody else.
Well, my recommendation was gonna be that this was a zero inflation year, and there's really no huge pressure to push the tuition up. If you want to remain competitive, I'd leave it, where it is at least. I would not be raising the tuition.
I'm fine with keeping tuition the same, but inflation for cost of living and staff salaries and healthcare, I don't think that it was zero.
Our budget. did
Our budget,
inflate.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
well-
we still had raises of $200,000, we still had healthcare
Yeah,
expenses.
I
so it's
understand
not-
all of that,
I mean,
but we're looking at a number that doesn't impact your, well, it does impact your.
I don't know, but our rates are substantially lower than what it actually costs.
Your
to educate
costs are not-
students. So
yeah,
it's
that's
nice
the
to
point.
have that information in front of us before we say, yeah.
Your tuition rate is not tied directly to cost.
So-
Right.
Because in the 6-year agreement we did with Warren, we did specify that we would set our tuition rate within the normal limits of the cost increases. And that was language that went into that contract. We weren't tied to a certain rate or a certain, I think there was maybe limits on the amount it could increase within a certain time frame, and then they could pull out if it was too much of an increase too fast, but. So I mean, what are the exact rates right now and for us? Isn't it like just under 14,000 for the high school? I know we have 3 different rates for.
Well, high school is $15,174 for the 15-16 school year.
And then that's for Warren, though.
Fif- That's the Haverhill rate.
And then when you get the discounts in, okay.
And our cost that we figure per pupil is more like 19?
So you're talking per pupil cost? I don't remember, to be honest, I had to go look.
I've asked for years and no one's ever really been able to. I understand that being able to have tuition students certainly helps our revenue line.
Yeah.
But there is a variable cost still associated with those children. And that, for me, has always been a difficult thing to wrap my head around as to what that figure is.
I don't know that anybody's gonna be able to tell you that, quite honestly. Because if you took all the tuition students out, because they're sprinkled across all the grades, it's not gonna have an impact typically on staffing. It won't have an impact on almost anything for which you already are expending funds. You'd have to spend those same dollars anyway. I have a projected revenue here for tuition for the 16-17 school year, and this is at this stage of the game, I call this a guesstimate. But the rate is showing 81.75 students based on the best information we had when this was done. And we're looking at a potential revenue for your district of $1,175,841. And we've got it broken out by who's coming from where and everything, but you never know until they actually show up and they hear who you're gonna really have. Things change, people move, and they move out, they move in, it's all over the place. This is our best guess right now. It's not an inconsequential sum of money. It's a lot of money. It's about roughly 10%. Well, maybe not quite that, but that's a lot of money.
I cut John's question off, I'm sorry, he wanted the tuition rates.
Yeah, no, what the current rates are. 15,000 seems higher than what we set last year. I thought it was closer to low 14s.
So this is the rate that this is, you know, from
What you're
the
getting
clerk
at,
who
right?
does the billing for you, but
Yeah.
she's got 15,174.
Okay.
Middle school rate's 14,159. Elementary's 13,855.
I have from the DOE website what our cost per pupil is. It's,
That's not accurate.
it's
There's a
not
lot of
accurate.
variables, you can't go by that.
No, but at least it gives some idea us related to everybody else
Right.
around us.
But it doesn't,
So what is it? For the elementary school, 16,200, middle school, almost 16,000, and high school, 17,000. So I don't think we're far off.
We're not that far off, yeah.
That was gonna be my point, we're not that far off.
And they use these rates that you have in front of you to create their budgets? Like Warren, Bath,
Yeah,
and so forth?
yeah,
If they use them, these rates seem higher than what I was expecting, so I guess I'd be happy with those rates. They're,
That's before
they're-
discounts.
and that's before discounts, but I mean, that seemed to be pretty reasonable rates before discounts, and
And the discounts are tiered on
And if they've already
25,
used them, then-
50.
Well, there's a whole bunch of different pieces to it here, they're reading it right now, but it's,
Is it by percentage
it's-
points?
if you
What's
wanna
your
read-
question?
I
The
wanna know how
discounts
this-
are by percentage points,
Yeah,
correct?
well, here's how it works. Let's pick middle school. We start out at 14,159.
Yep.
If they send 50% of their students, 13,593, and it ranges up to, if they send 100%, it's 12,743. And I think if I remember, it's 10% discount if they send 100% of their students. So, and it kind of ratchets back the other way. Here's the part, and I just found it in the fine print to the right that I think we need to discuss or should discuss, is the 7th and 8th grade deal. If we all recall, we went into a special 7th and 8th grade deal when Warren was contemplating building, which they've now done. The deal is, let's see if I can read this. I think I got glasses, it's small print. 7th and 8th grade tuitions discounted 33%, providing the following is met. For districts that have choice, 100% of 7th graders must attend the first year, and Benton must be 100% of both 7th and 8th graders. It doesn't apply to 4th to 6th grade, which we already knew, and no further discounts apply to this rate. So basically, for 7th and 8th grade, instead of paying 14,159, they're paying 9,486, which is a pretty good deal, I think we all agree, for Benton. Okay, I've read it.
And they also, there's also a thing that may or may not get met by a couple of them, or by one. I think it's this one. If it's over $400,000, there's an additional 2%. So, I mean, you've got a whole bunch of little, conditions here that apply under certain circumstances. But we use that, we look at the enrollments that we have currently, we push them forward, we try to do our best estimate of who's gonna go where from the eligible grade where they would move someplace, and then develop this sheet where we do the guesstimate.
I think I would recommend that, if I may, that starting next year, we phase out the 7th and 8th grade deal.
Just make it the same as every other grade.
Yeah, I mean, we may have to do it.
Right, that was
7th
put in there to
grade,
target
starting
Warren
next year,
and
do
Bath to
7th
try to
grade and
entice them
both.
to bring 100 more kids to 7th and 8th grade. But when we did it, Bruce had said that it has to be offered to all the districts, and therefore Benton was the one who said, yeah, we'll take it, even though Warren doesn't want it. However, they didn't do a multi-year contract. It was supposed to be based on a 5-year contract at the time, which was never made effective either. When we said that we were gonna do that, it was for a 5-year contract. Yeah.
Which wouldn't be a big deal for that.
No. Well, it'd be nice to have them, if we have a guarantee of any of them. It helps in planning purposes, but
Well, and, I will say, having attended lots of these meetings now, it's a difficult thing for these boards to do because they get a lot of pressure from members of their community to leave the door open for them to go wherever they wanna go. My family's always gone to this school, I don't wanna be told I can't send my kid there, and I want you to pay for it. I mean, you gotta sit through these meetings to listen, but they get hammered on.